There's a luxury good that everyone has, but no one talks about. It's not a Birkin bag, it's not a private jet, it's not even subtle work from a good plastic surgeon, it's hair extensions. And the fact that we don't talk about it, that celebrities and influencers will readily admit to Botox, filler, even a nose job, but will take their hair secrets to their grave, really says something about class, femininity, and what we're allowed to buy into. Let's talk about why hair has become the last frontier of beauty that still has a real class divide, and why nobody with good extensions, or even a wig, will ever admit they have them. First, let's establish something. Almost everyone you see with long, thick, perfect hair on your screen is, for certain, wearing extensions. I mean everyone! Your favorite actress, your favorite pop star, the influencer with the effortless beach waves and sock curls, the celebrity who grew out her hair between movies, extensions, wigs, clip-ons, tape-ins, sew-ins, hand-tied keratin bonds, it's all fake. And it's everywhere. But here's what's interesting. These same celebrities will post about their Botox appointments. Some will even discuss their surgical procedures. Ozempic was the biggest open secret of 2023, and it's now something that celebrities semi-openly discuss, or at least don't really hide. It's kind of hard to hide it. But hair is different. Hair is the one thing where illusion must be maintained at all times. And guys, I promise I'm not just bitter. Let's talk about why that is. But first, we need to understand the class dynamics of hair extensions, because extensions have a weird, complicated relationship with class signaling that other beauty procedures don't have. When you get Botox or filler, if it's done well, it just looks like you aged well. It's not particularly clocked as rich or poor, it's just taking care of yourself. Same with a good nose job, good veneers, even something as dramatic as a facelift. If it's subtle and well done, it reads as genetic luck or good skincare, not as a purchased enhancement. Extensions have always been read differently. For decades, visible extensions, the kind you could tell were fake, were associated with the specific aesthetic. Jersey Shore, Real Housewives, Miami club culture, LA party scene, working class women who wanted long, glamorous hair, but couldn't afford the type that looks completely natural. And let's be honest about what's underneath that association. To say it plainly, it's racism and classism working in tandem. A lot of the trashy extension stereotype is about white working class women, yes, but also about Black women, Latino women, women of color who have been wearing weaves and extensions and wigs for decades and have been mocked for it, called ghetto for it, and had their professionalism questioned because of it. Meanwhile, wealthy white women have been wearing extensions the whole time too. They just had the money for the kind that you can't see and can't tell. The kind that costs $3,000 every 3 months. The kind installed by a celebrity stylist who signs NDAs. The kind that looks so natural that you'd never know unless you were the one washing it. Extensions have this dual identity. They're simultaneously trashy when visible, when worn by the wrong people, and also aspirational when invisible, when worn by celebrities. The class divide isn't about whether you're wearing them, it's about whether anyone can tell. And this is where it gets interesting, because we're now in this weird cultural moment where other beauty enhancements have been somewhat democratized. Not in terms of access, most people still can't afford them, but in terms of social acceptability. You can get Botox at a med spa in a strip mall for a few $100s. It's not cheap per se, but it's accessible to middle-class women who save up for it. Same with filler, same with basic cosmetic procedures. They've been normalized, mainstreamed, and turned into self-care and aging prevention. But truly undetectable hair extensions, those must be gatekept by any cost. The extensions that look completely natural, that move like real hair, that you can style without them being obnoxious, those do cost thousands of dollars initially, and hundreds to thousands in maintenance every 3 months. Now that's a level of recurring expense that most people genuinely can't afford. Hair has become one of the last beauty standards where there's still a real visible divide. You can tell who has money by their hair in a way that you can't often tell with someone's face. Now let's talk about the actual economics of good extensions, because this is wild. If you want extensions that look truly natural, you're looking at an initial installation of $1,000 to $2,000 on lower end, up to $5,000 or even more, depending on method and amount of hair. Maintenance every 6 to 8 weeks, which is $200 to $500. Replacement every 3 to 4 months, which is another $2,000, $5,000. Treatments to maintain them, which is above $1,000 a year. Regular salon visits for styling that won't damage them, that's $150 each time. Of course, it depends where you are and how much you want to splurge, but doing the math on that, we're talking maybe 10K to 20K per year to maintain truly good extensions. And that's not even the ultra luxury celebrity level where you're paying for a stylist to come to your house, where you're using the most expensive human hair that matches your natural color perfectly, when you're constantly getting them redone and styled for different appearances. For celebrities, there are stylists who won't even tell you their prices unless you're referred by another celebrity. The extensions are custom color matched to your natural hair perfectly, they're cut and styled and blend seamlessly, they're maintained obsessively, and this is luxury good territory. Except it's a luxury good that depreciates rapidly and needs constant investment. Compare this to Ozempic, which, yes, is expensive if you're paying out of pocket, around $1,000 a month, I believe. But Ozempic, you take once a week, and the effects are dramatic and relatively long-lasting. The cost-benefit ratio is different. Same with surgical procedures. They're expensive up front, but then you have the results for months to years. Hair extensions are a recurring cost that never ends. You're essentially paying a hair mortgage forever. And if you stop, everyone will notice. And that's why celebrities won't admit to extensions. Because admitting to them means admitting to a level of maintenance and cost that breaks the illusion of effortless beauty. It breaks the illusion of being down to earth, and it reveals the infrastructure of wealth required to maintain their appearance. When a celebrity admits to Botox, there's this weird way in which it's almost relatable, like, oh my god, she's just like us, dealing with aging and doing little treatments and being transparent about it. It's been normalized enough that it doesn't really shatter the parasocial relationship, but admitting that your long, signature hair look, the hair that's on every photo shoot, every red carpet appearance, and every Instagram post, every brand deal, is completely fake, now that reveals something different. That reveals that one of the most natural things about your appearance is actually the result of tens of thousands of dollars per year in maintenance and professional styling. It's manufactured and not natural. And unlike Botox or filler, which you can pretend is minimal, extensions are quantifiable. If you have 18 inches of thick extensions, that's a lot of fake hair, and there's no way to spin that as just a little enhancement. It's a whole aesthetic built on something purchased and attached to what is actually you. There's also something specific about hair and femininity that makes this complicated. In most cultures, long, thick, healthy hair is deeply tied to femininity, health, and beauty. It's one of the most fundamental signifiers of a conventional, attractive female. Unlike other beauty standards, hair is supposed to be natural. It grows from your head and it's yours. It's your DNA. When we compliment someone's hair, we're complimenting something that feels essential to them, not something they bought. If people know that your hair is fake, it's not taken seriously, and it becomes something to criticize. Even when it looks good, there's a stigma. This is especially true for women in the public eye. An actress's hair is part of her brand, part of her image. And think about how many celebrities are known for their hair and how many hair care brand deals they've gotten along the way. Blake Lively, Zendaya, Ariana Grande's ponytail, even though she's kind of switched up on that too. All of it is most certainly involving extensions, wigs, or pieces. The magic trick only works if you believe it's real. Let's talk about the racial dynamics here because they're often ignored, but it's crucial. It's so important in conversations about extensions. Black women have been innovating in hair extensions, wigs, and protective styling for decades. Weaves, wigs, braids with extensions, this has all been part of Black culture forever, born out of both creativity and also necessity. Given how Black natural hair is policied and discriminated against in professional and social settings, for years, Black women were mocked for wearing weaves. Like, that's not your real hair was an insult, a way to diminish Black women's beauty, to call them fake or ghetto. And the assumption was that extensions were something to hide, something to be embarrassed about. But at the same time, your natural hair is also embarrassing. Meanwhile, white celebrities were wearing extensions the whole time. They just weren't talking about it. And because their extensions were expensive and well done, touched up on by a whole team of stylists, because they fit into conventional beauty standards, nobody questioned it. Blake Lively's hair looks natural because it's meant to look like long blonde hair that white women are supposed to have, even though most white women don't have hair that long and thick. So you have this situation where Black women were criticized for the same beauty practice that white celebrities were praised for, simply because the aesthetic, context, and price point of the extensions. Now, in the past few years, there's been some shift. Black women in the public eye are sometimes more open about wigs and weaves, reclaiming it as part of their beauty practice rather than something to hide, which is great. Celebrities like Gabrielle Union, Tracee Ellis Ross, and even Beyonce have been more open about wearing wigs and extensions, but that openness is still largely within Black women's communities and spaces. And white celebrities are still not admitting to extensions. They're maintaining the illusion that their hair is long, thick, and perfectly highlighted. It's all completely natural, but we shouldn't buy that. This gets into something deeper about what we're allowed to buy. In our current beauty culture, you're allowed to buy youth with Botox, filler, skincare, and surgical procedures. You're allowed to buy thinness. Ozempic is now the open secret that everyone's participating in, which isn't really a bad thing. But you're not supposed to buy femininity itself. And long, thick, flowing hair is one of the most fundamental signifiers of conventional femininity. So admitting you bought it feels different than admitting you bought a smoother forehead or slimmer nose. There's this idea that femininity should be effortless, natural, and inherent. Women are just supposed to be beautiful. They have to have great hair just to fit in these standards without visible labor. The moment that labor becomes visible, the moment we know you're spending money on extensions, the femininity becomes suspect or trashy. This is the same reason women are supposed to wear makeup but make it look natural. The same reason women are supposed to be thin but not talk about dieting. The same reason that women are supposed to be desirable but not try too hard. Visible construction of femininity breaks the illusion that this is just naturally how you are. And let's talk about specific examples because this pattern is everywhere. And it's not even just with women. I think Jake Paul has a lace front beard. Ariana Grande's signature high ponytail that she's worn for years, it's part of her brand. It's almost certainly a hairpiece or multiple extensions. Same with Sabrina Carpenter. And yet, you won't hear them admit this. Ariana specifically talked about how Nickelodeon years were really harsh on her hair, especially when she played Kat, how bleaching and styling destroyed it, but she's never directly said, I wear a ponytail extension. Instead, she talks about it, jokes about it, but never really confirms. And that's because there would be shame to do so. Same with the Kardashians and Jenners. They'll post about their cosmetics procedures, their shapewear, their workouts and their diets, even their use of Ozempic, or at least they would stop denying it. But their hair, they rotate through dramatically different styles and lengths, clearly using extensions and wigs constantly, even if it's just for a photo shoot, but they don't directly address it. They'll credit their hairstylist, show some of the behind the scenes of styling, but the admission that the hair is fake doesn't really happen. There's been a lot of partnerships like with Blake Lively and Sabrina Carpenter, partnering with hair care brands like L'Oreal, and it almost becomes false advertising to a point, because how are you advertising a hair product and showing off fake hair that probably honestly hasn't even touched the product? It's somewhat similar with men. Male pattern baldness is really common, and plenty of celebrities wear hair pieces and hair transplants. Some of them are open about it, about hair pieces and hair restoration, and others wear obvious pieces and nobody really cares, or it just becomes a minor joke rather than a big tabloid scandal. For women, admitting their hair is fake is much more significant and more damaging to their image, because every pop star has to have their signature hair look. If you can just slap a wig on, then that signature look becomes so much more accessible. So they don't want to admit that. But there's also the influencer economy to consider. So many influencers build brands around hair care. They partner with shampoo companies, conditioner brands, hair tool companies, and they post tutorials, hair routines, and product recommendations. When you have long flowing hair, that's a natural content farm. And the whole time, a lot of them are wearing extensions. They're selling you products to achieve hair like theirs, knowing that you literally cannot achieve hair like theirs without extensions. It's one of the more insidious forms of false advertising in beauty culture. So what does all of this say about our current moment in beauty culture? It says a few things. To recap, 1, we've normalized purchasing youth and purchasing thinness, but we haven't really normalized purchasing femininity. The enhancements that make you look younger or thinner are increasingly acceptable to admit to, and the enhancements that make you more conventionally feminine are all supposed to be hidden. 2, class divides in beauty are becoming more and more visible in some ways and also less visible in others. Ozempic and fillers have kind of standardized certain beauty practices. They're expensive, but they're accessible to upper middle class people who prioritize them. But truly undetectable extensions remain gatekept by cost, which creates a visible marker of wealth. 3, the labor of beauty is supposed to remain invisible, especially for women. You're supposed to look effortlessly beautiful, like you just woke up like this, and naturally feminine. Admitting to extensions reveals too much of the infrastructure and behind the scenes, too much of the cost and too much of the effort. 4, racism and classism still deeply inform what beauty practices are considered acceptable versus trashy. Black women and working class women wearing visible extensions are mocked. Wealthy white women on a big concert stage are admired. The practice is the same. The reception depends entirely on who's doing it and how much money they spent. I'm not trying to say that the solution is for anyone to stop wearing extensions. Definitely not. For many people, extensions are genuinely useful for thin hair, protective styling, for the ability to change your look, for medical hair loss, gender expression, and it's just fun overall. It's something people should be able to experiment with. But the problem is with the dishonesty around them, especially with people with large audiences. And that dishonesty reveals something about our beauty standards. If celebrities and influencers were honest about extensions, it would serve a few purposes. It would stop selling impossible standards to people who think that that hair is achievable naturally and much more common than it actually is. It would be more transparent and acknowledge the cost of maintaining these difficult beauty standards, and it would make it harder to profit off of selling hair care products while wearing fake hair to your audience that trust you. Honestly, that honesty is not coming anytime soon because the entire system benefits from the dishonesty. I sound like Dr. Seuss. Celebrities, even the most down-to-earth ones, always have benefited from seeming naturally perfect and iconic. Influencers benefit from selling you products. Brands benefit from you believing that their products will give you that gorgeous hair. The whole economy of aspiration relies on you not knowing how it's actually achieved. And there's something really insidious about this, being in the age of body positivity and natural beauty movements. We've made some progress in accepting different body types, different skin textures, different facial features, but hair is still expected to be long and luxurious. Natural hair movements have made strides, especially for Black women reclaiming their natural textures, but the mainstream beauty standard is still long, flowing, thick hair. And achieving that standard for most people requires either winning the genetic lottery or spending thousands of dollars. And at some point you have to think, am I doing this for myself or for social perception? There's a large cognitive dissonance of celebrities posting body positivity, natural beauty, love yourself content while wearing these extensions and wigs and hair pieces that they'll never acknowledge for all the reasons we have discussed. It's hard to honestly promote self-acceptance while secretly buying the features that you're asking others to accept that they don't have naturally, if that makes sense. So where does this leave us? Hair has become the last frontier of beauty enhancement that still has a real class divide and a real stigma around admitting to it. It seems you can admit to about anything now, but you can't admit to extensions because extensions reveal too much and it's also seen as too fake for it to just be enhancing your actual hair. So it's caught in this weird in-between of criticism where there's really no good way to go about it. When you're deep in pretending that the beauty standards you're playing into and trying to achieve are something that you wake up in the morning with naturally and don't have to try for and don't have to spend copious amounts of money on, you're in a little too deep to admit that your hair is 95% plastic. It can be someone else's human hair as well. It reveals too much about the construction of femininity, the cost of beauty standards, and the gap between aspiration and reality. And until that changes, hair will remain in this weird luxury good status that everyone has but nobody talks about. The open secret that stays secret because too many people benefit from the silence or are just embarrassed to say. So maybe we should start asking our favorite celebrities and influencers point blank, is that your real hair? Not to shame them, but to break the illusion, though that won't stop some people from lying. We need to stop pretending these standards are easily achievable, to acknowledge the actual cost, financial and labor, of looking the way famous women are expected to look. Because right now we're all participating in a delusion. We know the hair isn't real, they know we know, but as long as nobody says it out loud, we can all keep pretending that that beauty is natural, and you too could have hair like that if you just use the right products, or if you were meant to be famous and stunning like that. The truth is simpler and more expensive. You could have hair like that if you had $20K a year and a celebrity stylist, but that's not the truth that anyone wants to sell you. I'm not shaming or wanting to stop anyone from wearing these extensions. I just think that we should normalize it. And that doesn't only start with celebrities and people with visibility who wear fake hair pieces acknowledging that they do, but also audiences not making a big stink out of it. Let me know your thoughts. Is this overthinking it, or is this as deep as I believe it is? Thank you guys.